Community is a group of people who share a common history, shaping their similar culture, beliefs, and ideologies. In our presentation, community is defined by the same cultural group of individuals holding similar social ideologies and morality. Western colonial practices led to numerous changes being made in local communities of colonized nations. Our RLS talks about the introduction of anti LGBTQ stigma by British colonists in India through the introduction of Section 377 in the British Indian Constitution, which was done in the year 1861. The recent legalization of LGBTQ rights through the abolishment of Section 377 in 2018 has created room for an increase in awareness regarding the adverse influences of Western knowledge on the local Indian communities. In the BBC article, which is our RLS, the Indian mythologist Devdutt Patnaik says that the term homosexuality and the laws prohibiting unnatural sex were imposed across the world through imperial might. Stemming from this RLS is our knowledge question. To what extent should a community be influenced by extra-communal knowledge influences?
Key terms in our presentation include extracommunal, meaning outside or beyond a community, and culture, the ideas, beliefs, and practices of a particular section of society or the society as a whole.
Our first claim revolves around ethics, specifically the theories of utilitarianism, deontology, and moral intuitionism. Using utilitarianism, it is our responsibility to achieve an ideal world situation which means maximum benefit or happiness for the greatest number of people. Through this, through this perspective, extra communal knowledge exchanges are necessary when they offer knowledge that allows a community to progress. Some examples of such beneficial extra communal knowledge are Western medicine, technology developed by foreign nations, and laws that have proved to be effective. Using reasoning, one can also assert that it is logical to apply knowledge that is beneficial to situations where it is required. This is relevant to knowledge developed by one community which may need to be applied to another. Moral intuitionism is another theory that is applicable to this situation. It acknowledges the motivation to help that may drive an extra communal figure to suggest and make changes to a foreign community if they find out that it is within their power to introduce changes for the better.
Another perspective to consider in the situation is a method through which extracommunal knowledge influences another community. The area of knowledge here is ethics, and the main debate is around the ethicality of the process through which extracommunal knowledge is established in a new setting. While new knowledge may help a community tackle problems that they have not been exposed to previously, it may also disrupt cultural systems which form the identity of the community. An example of extra-communal knowledge affecting a system adversely is the international dominance of the English language that occurred through British colonization. Language is one of the primary means through which cultural identity is formed, a cultural identity which was disrupted when English became the preferred language in British colonies. Emotion as a way of knowing comes into play where cultural or communal identities have a deep sentimental value for members of a community, and the erasure of such identities cause ethnic rifts and rivalries which negatively impact the community as a whole. The feeling of belonging within a community that comes through sharing common practices and beliefs is breached by forcefully establishing extra communal knowledge.
A middle ground between these two perspectives is a view that proposes the inclusion of extracommunal knowledge in a way that both benefits a community that needs it while also maintaining the cultural identity of the community. An example of this is the adoption of laws from the British Constitution to the Indian Constitution in 1952. A community should be given the self-agency to choose which aspects of extra-communal knowledge they would like to emulate and incorporate into their own community. The predominant way of knowing used here is faith. The security and confidence we gain from faith can be fundamental to our sense of self. Hence, the knowledge a community chooses to adopt should not affect the faith that members have in pre-existing community systems, such as traditions that form the culture of the community. Reasoning is another way of knowing that can be used for this perspective.
The significance of this decision allows us to reflect on the extent of the ethicality of extra-communal influences in a rapid globalizing world. In regards to the RLS, our conclusion aligns with the ideas presented in the article that highlight the adverse effects of extracommunal interference on both the wider Indian community and the sub-community formed by Indian members of the LGBTQ+ community. However, these effects can be considered as unethical only if forced upon the community without respecting its culture and traditions. An example of extracommunal knowledge positively influencing a community is seen in an article by Aeon, which discusses the benefits of learning a foreign language and hence the benefits of introducing extracommunal knowledge to the members of a different community.